Good afternoon, everybody. So I had to run some errands late in the day. I just posted up that video from Recoil. So if you guys want anything, but I don't know, like maybe they're out on Amazon, or maybe you just want to buy from me, I encourage that. I would appreciate that. Typically, I can ship multiple items and usually get you a discount on most items. So, but yeah, we're also doing the components for 40 shipped now. We managed to get a shipping deal on that, and that's the coaxials, the Recoil, which is the RCX 65, and then the components, which are REM 65. So last time I think I showed you on the shop, Ari had tested all of those. We're good and working. And if you need like little parts or whatever, you know, sometimes people just need crossovers or whatever. I mean, know what you're asking for. That helps me. So when you don't know what you're asking for, you know, then I have to get into school mode and teach you. Well, what's weird is when I get into school mode with some of you guys start, you know, coughing up garbage that you've learned on the internet that is wrong, and I'm like, ugh. And then some people don't trust me, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, you got the wrong information. I have no reason to mislead you, but okay. So, but no, it's slow and go. So I'm like, do I go to Jaguars and get lap dances, or sit in traffic and make videos for you guys? I chose you guys. I chose you guys over boobies in my face. All right. So, but well, it would be for business, because I'd go there and solicit. You guys need any audio work? Because I did do some audio work, and they wanted to pay me in lap dances, and I was like, no, I'll wait for my money. They made me wait like 30 minutes. It was like $200. I was like, nope. But I wanted to go over the news. There's this lady that she was in Cali. She's a good California mom. I would kill for a mom like this. So she had, I think her son was like 15, and so they would have like these parties over at her house where she would give the kids alcohol and condoms, and you know, of course these are young adults, and they lack self-control, right? They don't know when to stop drinking. And me too at that age, right? I drank too much and was telling everybody I wanted to fuck them, you know, whatever. And so anyways, she went on the run into Idaho, but they managed to catch her. And I was like, it was funny. One of the stories that came up that out of the thing was that she, like when some of the girls didn't want to have sex with the boys, she would like pull them aside. She's like, listen, bitch, if you want to keep coming to these parties, you need to fuck some dudes and let me watch. It's hilarious. It's like the best mom ever. Neighborhood mom. Oh my God, let's go party at your house. Yeah, exactly. So, but of course, they use her as an example. You know, they can't let people, you know, we can't normalize that kind of behavior, even though young adults are out there doing that shit anyway. So, again, I was 14. I like to think that I seduced my dad's girlfriend / housekeeper, and she was 31, but I'm sure she probably just let me, you know, do it. So, but she did say I was better than my dad, which is good. So, because I don't think my dad goes down on, or would go down on girls, but I do. I am the clit commander. I love the vagina. I love the vulva. Love all that shit. Speaking of loving women, so I had a fellow comic who, I guess he's based out of Phoenix. His name is Stan Chen. He's a pretty funny guy. He's pretty talented. He has a day job as a pilot with FedEx, which is a killer job, because you make a lot of money. You don't have to deal with any of the bullshit with like passengers. Pilot retirement is fucking kick ass. So it's bonus all around. And so as sort of a hobby, he does stand up, and he's pretty good. However, there's also a local comedian. Her name is Savannah Hernandez, and she's a little cutie. I've known her since she was kind of a chubby cutie over at Dos Gringos, coming out to the open mics. now she's like popular, and she lost some weight, and she's got a good boyfriend, and she's going places, and it's really kind of cool. But she posted, I guess there's like an app where you can add a mustache to yourself, and she's, you know, she's a millennial, she's in her 20s, and so she's, you know, she looks very of the times, hip, as they say. And she used the app and put a little mustache on herself. Well, everyone was being very polite and very nice, and I had actually made a comment years ago when she was doing stand-up, because she would wear those chunky glasses that are popular right now, and something about, you know, jizzing on glasses, and I had totally forgotten about it. And then the other day I saw a promo for Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan was talking about, you know, anytime a guy compliments a girl on her glasses, he's thinking about jizzing on those glasses. And I just thought it was funny. And so nobody was saying anything to Savannah, because everybody, I guess, has a crush on her, and which rightly so. She's super cute. And I'll post you links on her Instagram. You can go look at her Instagram. Her profile picture on her Instagram, of course, she makes fun of herself, but there's a couple of good, you know, booby shots and things like that, and I'll put that as the thumbnail or something like that to really drive traffic her way. So, but I'm not a huge fan of her comedy. It's kind of, you know, like, it's good, but it's, you know, it's not like awesome, and it's not memorable, I should say. So, but I want to support her, right? And also because I made a comment on her Facebook page, I was like, Joe Rogan says that guys, you know, focus on the glasses, on jizzing on the glasses. I said, I personally prefer the mustache and also the hair on women's arms. So, and then of course the 6 to 7 inch clit that girls have. So, which I thought was an extra bonus. So, but Stan yelled at me in private message, and he was like, "Hey man, that's real creepy that you said that to Savannah." I was like, "What the fuck, dude? How come nobody listens to Dave Chappelle or Bill Burr or any of these guys? Comedians should be able to joke with one another, if anything." So I assured Stan that I'm married. I have no interest in anyone that young, because they're super dumb. And also she's, you know, like, I can see, like, if I was in an airport bar and Stan was in an airport bar, because he's a pilot, you know, pilot drink. So, but, and he overheard me saying something like that to a girl at a bar. Yeah, that's fucking inappropriate, man. And it's not going to work as far as a pickup line. So, but this was one comedian talking to another comedian that I've known for years, like, and it just really kind of irked me that it was like, I was thinking about it was kind of a betrayal, because it was like, why would you think that of me? Like, that fucking sucks. So, but he's a little bit older. I think he's in his 50s, and so I think he was just being protective, because she's in her like 20s or whatever. And so I'm sure he looks at her like, you know, the stepdaughter he'd fuck or something like that, you know. And I'm sure he's banged lots of stewardesses or whatever, because that's what you do when you're a pilot, you know, giggity. So, but I wanted to talk about those two things. I'll just do this. I'll do partial in the video here is the EMF guy. So the EMF guy, basically, he's like a version of me. Some guy just working at home. I was watching some of his YouTube videos, and looking at his website. So I thought it was cool that he has the blacklist, which is cool, because there are some douchebags that do chargebacks and shit like that, where they order stuff and then they're like, chargeback. And so that's one of the reasons why I don't take credit cards anymore. I'm like, no, you guys can go fuck yourself. So, but what was it? I mean, he just started ordering stuff from China and building it here, and he charges a lot, so he's been able to progress up the ladder pretty quick. And really, the business that he's in is in trickery. So, and if you're gonna buy a really expensive sub, I recommend Hutchinson. Was it Hutchinson Audio? Nick Hutchinson. I'll put a link to that in the description. So Nick does some really tits McGee work, and then he does full-blown, I think he is a machinist, which gives him a huge advantage. And so is Jonathan DeMuth, formerly of T3 Audio, now Prodigy Audio. That's really where the money's at. And then as a hobby, you can do audio and you can do some really cool shit that most companies will not do because it's expensive. It's very expensive. So if you can offer that, you can kind of cater to the high-end market. But I do want to correct myself. The Neo motor that you saw was not the band hammer. It was a copy of the Yolo, right? You only live once. Which is a stupid saying anyway. It's just millennials' way of telling people to fuck off and I don't care and go commit suicide, which I'm like, that's not such a bad idea. Like, if you want to go do that, fucking more power to you. So, and then get it tattooed on your gums. Like, I don't understand that. But okay, whatever. What is it? Somebody called me, one of the young people called me salty. They're like, oh, I don't want to be salty like you. I'm like, okay, I'm salty. Got it. But that Neo motor it's basically a beefy version it's a knockoff. That's what it is. So the version that I have is from Lord of Bass. Okay, so let's get that straight. It is not the Yolo motor. However, it's basically the Yolo motor, which is, I think George at one time probably imported like 50 motors or 100 motors and sold them through his website, and then realized that the design is terrible and was like, okay, we don't need this anymore. Because one of the biggest issues about that motor is that the Neo is super close to the coil, like right next to it. In fact, it relies on that leading edge of the Neo to work, to be active. So the leading edge that is on the outside of the coil is the positive. And then it uses the bars and the T-yoke to then return the end of the circuit to be the negative. The pole is still negative. So, and the problem with that design, of course, is that it comes in close contact with the, like, super close contact. Like, that's the gap. And so it's going to get that Neo hot, and then after it gets hot, it becomes demagnetized. Now, in a what's called the sandwich design, which is where the Neo is like, in pillars, and then there's a traditional top plate and things like that. That can be remagnetized, right? We got like, I think 100 of them from Tilo when he was closing out, and he had some problems with the ones that he sold us. Dude, I think I got them for like $15 each. It was fucking great. The problem is that the Neo slugs in them, and these were the fat Neo slugs, not the thin ones. They had the thin one was like the version 1, and then there was a version 2 that was the thick slug. These were the version 2, but the plating on the Neo was flaking off. And so we had to get in there with compressed air and just like scrub brushes and everything like that. We did that all before we magnetized them, and then we went down and Bob from Rick Fix, who used to be an engineer at PPI. I met him through a friend, and he let us borrow the magnetizer from Orion, which I still have the coil from. I borrowed it, but anyways, we got those zapped and they were great. But that's the better design, even though I still don't like that design either. I don't like that Neo because it's heat sensitive. So if you get it above 400 degrees, it's gonna lose power. It's gonna lose its charge. That's when it gets close to the curry point. So back to the Yolo. Okay, so the name Yolo, of course, that's the EMF version, and that's a knockoff. It's just a Chinese knockoff of the Z motor, right? The Z motor was originally put out by Digital Designs as some sort of innovator, and I doubt they even made that here. I'm sure they assembled the cone and the spider and all that stuff here to say it's made in America, but you have to import that motor. So it's difficult to assemble, which makes it even more expensive. And you probably have to have some sort of special magnetizer where there's a coil in the middle and then there's a coil on the outside, because it's magnetized radially. So, and then I realized, why would somebody come up with a design like this? This is really terrible because you can't service it and you can't remagnetize it unless you have a special machine. And then I realized who this is a real design of. This is a copy It's an open version is what this is, the Digital Designs Z motor. It's an open and beefier version of the Beehive motor, the original Beehive motor from TC Sounds. Tilo had, I don't know if he designed it. I would love to interview him someday or ask questions, but I don't know if he designed it for Aura or if Aura came to him with the design. And that was the original designer or idea or product that was first on the market for that type of Neo motor. And Aura was not successful with it because I think they got that motor made and they were bragging about how they have like whatever, it was 3 or 4 inch excursion on their 18. And then this was in the 90s. And then they sponsored the Pop Mart tour for U2, which I got to be security with. And when they came here to Tempe and played, I got to guard the catwalk where there was a spot where the drummer, my wife's going to kill me that I forgot his name. The drummer came out and was drumming, and then he like wiped himself. She's the one that she's got a crush on him. So, and he, wiped his sweat, his brow with his towel, and then he like threw it on the ground. Well, I happened to be guarding that area, so I picked, Larry Mullins. So I picked up that towel and I stuck it in my pants and snuck it home and gave it to her. Which I'm pretty sure she masturbated with a couple times. It was like, it's a teenage. She loved Duran Duran and U2 and all that stuff. So, but that was a nice thing that I could provide my wife, and those are things you do. So, but back to the Pop Mart tour. They were promoting the Zoo TV album and also Octatongue Baby and some other work that they did, and it was a great concert. But one of the things that Bono and the crew had designed was this. It was half of a McDonald's arc. So it was, McDonald's has the golden arches, so they just had one arc. And the arc was filled with Aura Sounds 18-inch Neo subwoofers. So, but Aura had originally designed that for PA and home theater, which is kind of a weird combination. However, that's the kind of driver that you really want in PA, to provide a lot of output, to have a lot of excursion. And so, but again, that didn't help them, and the driver wasn't really terribly popular. And then I think they finally called it quits, and you used to be able to buy some of the Neo motors from Parts Express, which I bought too, because they're cute little Neo cup motors, and they work great and they work fine. So the other design that is popular is, of course, the Nightshade Neo motor that you see with Sundown. So I'm not sure which version. I don't really keep track of what Jacob does. I mean, I see it because it's popular and good for him, but I don't really, whatever. He changes these versions, and you're supposed to, whatever. I'm like, whatever. I don't, like, it's some sort of big event for him to go version 3, version 4. I'm like, whatever, dude. It's the same fucking name. But anyways, the Nightshade, where it has the cup, the big Neo cup motor, and I do believe that's a 3-inch. It's a 3-inch or 4-inch. Anyways, China has run with that, and that is a copy of the other way to design a Neo motor, which is to use a large slug in the pole. And again, I'm not a fan of that too. However, it does a little bit better because only the outer edges are exposed to the voice coil heat. And I remember one time when Jacob was still, I'd call him out online, and he would still respond and things like that. And he was like, he's like, look at the numbers we put up when it's like SPL numbers, and it's like, you shouldn't be using that driver for SPL in the first place. Like, but okay. And also there's Tilo's argument, which is that if you're getting your motor up to 400 degrees, you're doing it wrong in the first place. So, and I'm like, I understand that, but if you don't provide any way to really service the item, it just goes in the trash. And that's what you have to do with those Beehive motors, with the Yolo, with the Digital Design Z series, and even if the Lorda base copy. So, but back to that motor. There was somebody importing them. I think it was James Garza out of Colorado, who's a builder, and I'll post a link to his work. He does some pretty interesting work. I like him. I support him. Up there in I think it's just outside of Denver. But somebody had imported a bunch of those, and they were bragging about how thick the aluminum was on the top plate, and I was like, I go, dude, you can't make a motor like that with aluminum. And he was like, yes, we can, and we did it. And I was like, well, it's not going to work very good because aluminum is not ferrous. It's you know, it has some properties, and that's why there's a, what was it? I saw this video from, I think it's called BAV Sounds. They build vehicle specific stuff for the BMW community, and then they just overcharge it. It's really expensive. And there's in the promo video, he zaps a little 8-inch woofer frame, and it jumps out of the gap. And so anything that's going to be reactive like that has to have some again, I don't know what the word is, ferocity. It has to have some ferrous capabilities, otherwise the EM field is not going to affect it. It's not going to, you know, detect it or affect it. So, but yeah, it makes your motor really terrible, and the way that you compensate for that is you have really strong Neo. So does it still work? Yes. Is it a terrible design even with steel? Yes. And so are they expensive? Yes. And I don't recommend them. So, which is why really the best way to do it is the way you see in Nick Hutchinson's design, which is where it's away from the voice coil and he uses pillars. The other way is the way you see Scotty's design, Scott Atwell of Phi. He does like a clover leaf, either a tri-lobe or a quad lobe, and he puts the Neo out on the lobes, which is where they belong. So, and then again, you can compensate if you think there's even some sort of transfer loss in the steel, which there isn't. I mean, I'm sure there's measurable loss instead of using a traditional pancake design. However, for this application, it doesn't fucking matter. So, because it's like people are just going to use it as a woofer, and it's fine. It works. So, but yeah, so I am going to review some of the stuff, and I think it's a little easier for me to point out using the Lorda base, whatever you want to call it, Neo awesome motor, as a was an education tool, and so I can point out stuff on it and show you how it works. So I will still do that video for you so I can explain why it sucks. So even though some of you guys get it when I just explain stuff like this and you use your imagination, right? Nobody wants to use their imagination. I remember, what was it? I get texts a lot for people that they get disappointed by my videos. Like there's the video that I did on showing people how to pack heavy things, and I said, this is what you do. And I basically just told him what to do. He's like, you didn't show it. You got to demo it. I'm like, no, I don't. Like, go make your own fucking video, dipshit. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I got stuff to do. Like right now, I'm fine doing videos because I can't do anything else. I'm in traffic. I'm paying attention to traffic. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I got some time to spare. Otherwise, I'm fucking busy. Like this COVID shit, I mean, it's like slow down, speed up, and then everybody's mad at me because I can't get parts, and rent is still due, so I don't want to turn down the money, right? And then what's the funny part is, the ironic part is, I've had a couple of people say, well, I'm going to take my money and go elsewhere. I go, good. I don't need 5 more guys of you fucking coming in being all demanding and there's a scratch on here, there's a glue drip. It's like, shut the fuck up. You know, like you're lucky I'm even offering this service. So like PSI, Dave just shuts the fuck down. He shuts the whole website down. He's like, you can't even look at it. You can't even like, you know, oogle doogle and just see, you know, like, well, I'll buy this in 6 months or whatever when I save up. And it's like, no, he just shuts the whole fucking thing down and he goes, we'll be back soon. And then, you know, 6 months, 7 months pass and he's still loaded. Now, is he still working and taking orders? Yes. But not to you, right? The typical Joe Blow. He's got a huge list of clients that he supports, and he still helps them. And I do the same thing. But my client list is not as great, and I don't charge as much as he does. So I have to do double work, which is, kind of dumb on my part, but I'm okay with it because I don't have anything else better to do. So, but motorcycle people, ugh. So I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like there's not much I can do, and right now I think we're like 4 weeks, 6 weeks out on delivery for most items. So now, again, if you know me and I've done things with you before, and we're cool, right? Like when we go to the glory hole, I can fucking trust you, right? And Dave was it Dave Chappelle? He was talking about a glory hole, and he's like, gay people are brave because they got to stick their dick through the glory hole, and you got to trust that someone's not gonna, rip your dick off or bite it or something like that. And yeah, I think that was I think that was some Dave Chappelle I was listening to last night. So it was older Dave Chappelle, but yeah, you gotta trust each other with that shit. So anyways, if you're one of those clients, and now the problem is if you think you're one of those clients and you're not, you're going to be a little upset when I'm not able to help you as quickly as you would like. So, but I'm trying to weed out several clients that feel that way, because I'm like, nope. I go, you bitched last time. You said I'm not a great guy. I should, blah blah blah. Whatever your expectations are, I didn't meet. I go, nope. I don't. Nope. Go to PSI. Go to China. I don't give a shit. Doesn't affect me. So, again, my focus is on helping people. I am not a professional by any means. Do I do good work? Yeah. But you don't have to be called a professional or be held up to those standards. And I tell you what, the workplace, there's not even going to be a workplace here in the future, man. Most people are working from home, and they're like, thank God. Like, I was on the phone the other day because Sprint was throttling my fucking data, and I'm like, the lady had an Asian accent, and I'm sure she was over in Malaysia or whatever, and I could hear her dog in the background, and I know she was working from home, and I was trying to be compassionate and patient, and then she starts telling me, and she's like, well, we throttled it so that you wouldn't use up all your data. I'm like, that's what my data's for, is to be used. I don't mind using all my data. I said, now you do have a chink in your armor, poor choice of words. You do have a little bit of, they dropped the ball a little bit, because they say you can purchase more data, but then they don't give you a way to do it, like a hot link or something like that to purchase more data. And then of course it's expensive. I think it's like $10 for 5 gigabits. I'm like, that's not a lot of porn for me. So, but, for computer nerds, I guess I'll have to build it myself in order to confirm it. I remember I was using a Linux box with Ubuntu as my home theater PC with just a little SSD. And I remember when I used to, I had a V20 from LG, and I would just plug in through the USB, and it would automatically use. See, that's the thing, is I don't know if it was using the hotspot, but like a hardwire hotspot, or if it was actually using my phone's, because I have unlimited data. They don't advertise those plans anymore because they're fucking awesome. But I have unlimited data on my phone, so anything I watch on my phone, it's free. They don't charge me anything. And then I have another 100 gigabyte on my hotspot. And then as a backup, my wife has 50 gig. And then like we have all the I call them the slave phones, the phones that don't have any features, that like one my brother used to have and things like that. So those don't have any hotspot time on them, and they cost like nothing. They cost like $5 or $10 a month. It's nothing. But anyways, if anybody could let me know, it could verify for me. It would help me out a lot to know. Otherwise, I'll just have to experiment it, and it fucking takes forever. So, but on this next Linux box, I want to do like 2 500 gigabyte SSDs in RAID. So for the primary hard drive. So I don't know if I can do that, but we'll see. I just wanted to kind of be speedy. But I also need to build a network. What is it called? Network what they call it, appliance, NOS. So I found some guy that had used 3 terabyte drives, and I want to string them all together and do like a RAID 1+, or is it 0.1 or whatever it is, where you have both stripe and then redundancy. So you know, again, the 7 terabytes of horse porn, that's an investment that I think will pay off in the future. How do they say it? In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So when all you motherfuckers rely on streaming and bullshit like that, and then the internet goes away and the everything crashes, guess who's going to have pornography? Me. And I'm going to charge you like a chicken and maybe like some alone time with your woman for you to, you know, use my computer. So that's my long-term investments. Some people pick 401ks, bullshit. Some people pick Bitcoin or whatever, bullshit. So not me. It's speaker parts for now, and then porn for later. That's where it is. And of course, my goal is to get on the moon. So, and again, I don't care if I'm the janitor on the moon. I just want to go to the moon. But that's my life goal. And so we'll see if that pans out. For me, in my mind, it's going to pan out. And but it's weird when I say it out loud to people, because I'm like, are you buying that? You know what I mean? And I know they're not buying it because they're like, because it's so foreign. But that's why I want to do it. I'm like, people don't say that. But in 10 years time, which actually I'm giving myself 13 years. So, because I want to do it by my 60th birthday. I got 13 years time. And when you listen to fucking Elon Musk, that shit is completely possible in 10 years. Like, I'm telling you, man, there's going to be like, it's not going to be like a daily commute, but there's definitely going to be like every 6 months, there's going to be like a supply ship that goes to the moon and brings back stuff or whatever, you know, I don't know. And that's what you do, is you set up really cool shit on the far side of the moon. I do have a joke ready though for my flight. I tell the other guys, I go, oh man, I can't wait to see the fucking alien moon base. And then they look at me, they're like, what are you talking about? And I was like, well, there's an alien moon base. Didn't you guys watch that Amazon special? They're like, we don't watch Amazon. We're not allowed to watch Amazon. I'm like, oh. It's like, well, there's this Amazon thing about how we've had aliens since the 20s, and there's Nazi submarines in space and some other cool shit. Which, you know, that's a good theory, and because it's secret, you know, it's very difficult to prove. So, but I made it home safe. I'm not going to run over this crippled person, and I'm here, and I'm home, and I'm tired, and I'm achy, and I love you guys, and I'll do the 2 videos tonight. The Yolo motor, or Florida-based knockoff version of it, and the Berserk tweeters, and then I think there's one other review. Oh, and if I said this in the recoil video, if I sent you a DSP out of compensation, or if you purchased it, I apologize for not sending you the harness. I will send you the harness. Please just email me to remind me. So, or text me. Text 602-312-6504. That's my personal cell phone. I give it out, and guess what? Hardly anybody still calls me. So, but I love you guys. I will talk to you later.